So Citizens Bank started here in 1901 on the intersection where we are right now at First and Broadway. And so 120 years ago, we just celebrated our birthday. So the schoolhouse had opened, UCO had started, and the bank's leaders were instrumental in getting those efforts underway. And then they decided that it was time to form a bank to support the businesses that were in the residents of Edmond that were buying property, building things, needing some loans for businesses. And so they pulled their money together, the citizens did, and became Citizens Bank of Edmond. We have the same name as we had back then. My family got involved in about 1910. So it was actually my stepfather's family that came here from Iowa to be part of the bank. And subsequently 4 generations of the family have served and led Citizens Bank of Edmond. And so in 2013, we decided to sell our branch locations and just have one spot, and we decided to come back to our home in downtown Edmond. So we implemented, our first thing was our Vault 405, our co-working space, to create some density of businesses in downtown and a real entrepreneurial ecosystem. And so that helped quite a bit. We started Hurd on Hurd that same year, so a downtown street festival. And so we had to guarantee a minimum for that first Hurd on Hurd. We had about half a dozen food trucks that came to the first one. They sold out within an hour and just said this is something special. And so we were able to then expand our food trucks and started averaging in 2019 50,000 people at each event that went underway that season. And it was just using social media, word of mouth, to bring people from all over the state and even the country to downtown Edmond to enjoy great local music, food, and shopping. When that happened, we started going to city council meetings, and developers were pitching doing developments in downtown. And without fail, they would always mention that Hurd on Hurd made them see the potential in downtown Edmond. So we always thought that we could get these, the pop-up shops that we had at Hurd on Hurd, that we might be able to entice them to open up a storefront. And many of them, like if you go to the rail yard, almost all of them were food trucks at Hurd on Hurd. We had pop-up shops with bookstores, and now we have Commonplace here, and just having wonderful, like the Mule and restaurants that are able to stand by. It's like even around the corner where you'll find me every single morning for breakfast, and Othello's, and then awesome Sunnyside Diner that came in as well. So to see how much this has changed, not only in the past 8 years since we started Hurd, but just since COVID. The Mule didn't exist then, Rail Yard didn't, Sunnyside was just getting underway. I tell people, like, let me show you my Edmond. Like, you can have a perception of this, but I can really show you there's so many wonderful things we have here. And it's great to learn too, like how we can improve, like what is the perception, and is that something we can do better at? And so just be really engaged, open to improvement, and never letting your ego get ahead of you. My favorite quote is, my ego is not my amigo, and so just don't let yourself get in your way. Like, be open to what the economy is telling you, what your customers are telling you, what people are telling you, feedback, and then adjusting to it. Yeah. So during COVID, we saw that the retail was really taking a hit, and we also didn't have Hurd on Hurd to be able to provide a little micro economy to see, so a small business could test out whether their goods and services really worked or not. So we thought, well, maybe we can take this to the next level. And I'd always envisioned that as we expanded our footprint in downtown Edmond, that coveted storefront space, that we would somehow find a way to contribute to downtown from a retail standpoint and not take that away as office. And so whenever we renovated the space that used to be the dollhouse, it was a place that sold dolls, and we redid this building. It had this beautiful storefront, and so we were able to collaborate with Allison Barta Bailey and the Independent Shopkeepers Association to really quickly put an accelerator together so that up to 2 small businesses could have a retail storefront for a couple months for really, really low cost, and get this program in support of the Independent Shopkeepers Association, and then whatever resources the bank can provide to test out to see if they can schedule like a storefront would require, if they can merchandise, and give them really a taste of what that is. Everyone wants to open a storefront, but when they realize that, okay, you have to be open every day at the same time and deal with the staff and deal with the inventory issues that can also that they can also encounter. This is a great test to see if this is where we take it to the next level. We also see a lot of businesses that are in Midtown or other areas of the city that would love to test to see if Edmond would work for them or not. And so that a lot of our applicants are opening their second facility and just testing to see that Edmond markets. We're really successful so far. Yeah, there's so many. So I try to show exclusively local, and so there's a million of them. But I really love going to barrios and Midtown, and anything the Good Egg Group does is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I love going to Cheevers and other places like that. Hall's Pizza Kitchen on their rooftop space in Midtown is also really quite fun. We love Joey's is where we go for breakfast on May, and also on May Avenue as well as here in Edmond. I'm a big breakfast eater. Neighborhood Jam is also a great place if you can get in, and so the whole House Smith Enterprises does such a great job. And I love getting referrals and just trying out something new. My husband, he loves food, and so he's usually going to Missy's Donuts and Guthrie, and also finding great places in downtown to eat. And we love just Edmond and trying new places. I love where I can see the owner. And one of my favorite things about Joey's is it's a family that owns and operates it, so you're able to see, our kids are able to grow up essentially together while we're having breakfast and communing over food. Lots of great shopping spaces. There's Bessie King shoes, and so who doesn't love them? Here, one of the great assets in Oklahoma. So many others. The Cargo Room. She's been a mainstay here at Hurd on Hurd, but also has a storefront in Midtown. So we've been trying to experiment with everybody that's around. So I'm a complete nerd and an introvert, so I play a lot of video games, which is probably not what you expected to hear. So that's kind of like how I decompress. But then my daughter is at the Naval Academy, so that's in Annapolis, Maryland, and we really love going there and kind of getting on the water. So we'll go in the DC area and visit Olivia. We love to travel beyond that. My husband and I, when we got married, we were stationed in Hawaii, and so my undergraduate degree is from there, and we have lots of connections. So it's not necessarily a weekend trip, but if I can get away, that's where I like to go, is to Hawaii. And then we just try to go day trips around. I love exploring Oklahoma and seeing all the wonderful state parks that we have, and just things that we went to as kids that now you can experience as an adult, climbing Mount Scott or going on hikes in green country. So I'm just trying getting out and enjoying the outdoors. I love yoga and Pilates, so if I'm on any day, you're going to find me probably in one or the other at a great yoga studio or Pilates studio in town. So I love that we have that there's this melting pot of people from really all over the state and nation that come together, and they place for some priorities is like family support. They support local vendors, shopping, business owners, and there's this just great cooperation, but a little bit rigor in that cooperation to ensure we're always doing the right thing to accelerate where we are in our community, whether it's making sure that we're safe, that we're well educated, that our kids have lots of opportunities. So it's just the makeup of the community, and that we're increasing our diversity. We continue to have Edmond is the place where families want to live, and so whenever they can choose where to live, they choose here. And so making it much more that we're attractive to all, and there's really a focus of that in Edmond, where it used to be kind of set aside from the metropolitan area, and now it's really inclusive of a place in which so many people of different backgrounds and ethnicities and where you're from and race come together and really can accomplish a lot of great work in the community. I think I heard something this weekend that really resonated with me that kind of wraps all of it up, and that's to travel light, to not carry a lot of baggage around from past experiences or even past experiences as a person. Try to be real free in who you are as a person, and you're really in the moment and able to adjust, that you're not lugging around 10 bags, as you make that travel, that you're willing and able to do anything, and you're prepared for that because you're not burdened with either emotional baggage or physical baggage or time and capacity. And so that travel light philosophy, I think, is really important. It's always to never judge anyone based upon the circumstance in which you're interacting with. And so I am one where a $5,000 loan is as valuable and important to me as a $5 million loan. And so I'm intolerant of treating people different based upon the resources they have. I grew up without very much, and so I understand that we are in a really a very precious position to work with individuals, sometimes in the most sensitive and the greatest amount of exposure they really have financially in their lives. And sometimes that's a really good thing, and sometimes it can be whenever they're near a devastating position, to always be really present in that moment, to be caring and empathetic, seeking to understand is really important to me. And so that, something we may not be able to always do complete the financial ask that someone wants, but we can always treat them with respect and give them a pathway as to what the yes could be. Being in a bank is a really difficult role because you want to serve everyone, but you can't. And so how do you become a resource to helping someone achieve their dreams, even though they may not be ready for it now? And so that's really important to me as well. And just never compromising your ethics, that you always know who you are and you're around people that hold you accountable to that. So I think always being in a room where you're not the most intelligent, the most knowledgeable, the most even the most ambitious, but being around people that provide you rigor, that keep you in check, that elevate your game, and that allow you to drive an organization, a community, a state, a country into something bigger.